Good morning, grade nines. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better. I'm sitting a bit closer to my computer. I'm just going to make a really quick video today. I just want to talk about a little bit about what we talked about on Thursday, since it's now Monday and we had Friday off. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. I'm going to move my mouse because I always leave it in the middle of my recorder screen. Yeah, we'll go from there. So here, I'll flip this camera over. We're going to talk a little bit about page 88. Oh shoot, I'll make sure this is nice and lined up. Perfecto. Maybe I'll straighten it up at the top a little bit. Talk a little bit about page 88. Now, we looked at the top part yesterday. Sorry, by yesterday I mean Thursday. So we can ignore that. Hopefully you've already got that done, and you kind of figured out a little bit about using the proportions to solve percents of numbers. So again, it was kind of like, yeah. Here, I'll do a quick. Well, maybe I'll just pull up what we did the other day. So again, if it was percentage of a number, well, we made the percentage into a fraction, then we turned the number into a fraction as well, and it's a little bit complicated. So here's another quick way to do this. It's actually a little bit easier. So if they're asking for a percentage of a number, here for 50% of 20, we had to do, I had to turn 50% into 50 over 100. 20, we had to turn into some number out of 20. It ended up being 10. If you remember solving it that way, because 10 is 50% of 20. It's half of 20. Now, a quicker way to do that is actually right here. So I'm just going to quickly go over that step by step, so that it's not just one big wall of information. What am I going to call this? I'll call it solving percents. Solving percents using decimals. Now that's going to be a slight difference from the other day. I'll put the date too. It's April 13th? Yeah, April 13th, 2020. Just in case that matters. It might be really good for keeping track of your binder or whatever. So, solving percents using decimals. Sorry, I'm sitting on the floor, so again, my writing is sloppy. No matter what I do, my writing is always sloppy. Right on. So, let's go through that exact example that they gave us here. So, what number is 50% of 20? And of course, we already answered this. We know the answer is 10. But let's look at some steps. Instead of using proportions and setting things up as fractions, we are going to use decimals. And I'll get this, using decimals to solve this problem. Now, so since we're looking for 50% of 20, let's turn 50% into a decimal. Remember how we used to do that? There were a couple of different ways. We said we could take 50%, we could turn it into 50 over 100 and actually turn that fraction, put it into a calculator, or we could turn 50% and we could just move the decimal. Remember, there's this fictional decimal here. Move that 2 spaces to the left. Either one works. Both times we'll get 0.50. Perfect. Now, since it says what number is 50% of 20, of essentially means, hey, we should multiply that. So we have our decimal. We're going to find 50% or 0.5 of 20. 50% of 20. So we can whip out our calculator here. Oh no, it's almost too dark. Let's make sure that light's on. There we go. 0.5. Oh boy, that's right. Oh, oops, I hit 0.2. 0.5 of 20. Let's see. Look at that. It's still 10. Excellent. So, that's actually, honestly, that's basically the whole gist of it. 50% of 20 is equal to 10. Let's do another quick example. I won't pull from I won't pull from the questions that you have. You have 16 questions today. I'll just make up another one. Let's say, I don't know, 10%. I'll call this EG2. 10% of, doesn't really matter, 971. Sure, why not? 971. So 10% of 971, first thing we're going to do, turn this into a decimal in one of two ways. We can do 10 over 100, or we can do move that fictional decimal point 2 spaces to the left. Both ways we're going to get 0.10 of 971, so times 971, and we're going to get an answer that is, let's see, oh, I'll put that right under, 0.1 times 971, and I already know the answer. Look at that, 97.1. It just moved decimal as well. 97.1. Perfect. This also might be a really helpful thing to do when you're submitting work to me. If you put squares around your answers, it'll help you know where to look. Also, make sure you're numbering things. I already noticed that I made that mistake. So here was EG1, EG2. It really helps me when it comes to marking. But otherwise, I managed to slice this page. So this page 1 to 10, and then the other 6 questions are all on one page, and I'm sending that your way today. Otherwise, I hope these 16 questions aren't too crazy. Feel free to check in our kind of daily 9 a.m. video conference, and then I'll try to do another one at 1 o'clock today. So if you want to kind of check in and ask questions, that'll be your chance. Okay, thanks grade 9s. Have a good one. Did it end? No. It won't end.